Hello, viewers. You're welcome to our channel today. This is Family Aspiration, and I'm your host, Charles. Today, I want to be talking about how to know if a man is interested in you. There are ladies out there who may be thinking, "Oh, I don't know if this guy is interested in me or not." Or your friends are asking you, "Is he interested in you?" How do you know? What does it mean for a man to be interested in you? It means that he wants to go out with you, or date you, or even proceed to marry you. It means a man wants to commit to you. For a man to be ready to commit to you, he must first of all show an interest in you. And there are signs to know that a man is interested in you. So I want to share with you today some of the things that you can look out for to know that a man is interested in you. Now, I'm a man, so I can tell you from my own past experiences, because I'm a married man now, you can see. So I can tell you from my past previous experiences and how this thing work. You can actually know as a woman that a man is interested in you. You want to know about it? All right. Now, before we continue, I want you to hit the subscribe button. I want to share this video and like the video as well. Hit the thumb up button, okay? Because I'm about to share something with you that you will always come back to listen to again and again. And if you implement them, they will produce results. And in addition to that, I'm coming up with a lot of series of these teachings, so watch out for it. Okay. All right, so let's start. How to know if a man is interested in you? First, the obvious one that we all know most of the time is that he stares at you. When a man is interested in you, he stares at you. He just stares. I repeat, he will stare at you. Literally, every single relationship I had before I got married was like this. If I'm interested in a lady, I gotta stare. I have to just look, stare at them. Why? I don't know why that happens anyway, but that's just the way it works with most 90% of men, really. If a man is interested in you, the first thing you can find in that he's interested in you is that he gazes at you, he stares at you. All right? And look out for that. If a man starts staring at you, don't be shy. Don't wander off. Don't look at him as though, what kind of a look is that? Don't react negatively. He's just interested in you. So just record in your heart, in your mind that, oh, he's interested in me. That's fine. But there's more to it. There are other signs. You're not going to run off with the fact that he's staring at you. There's more. Okay. Then another thing you want to look out for is that if he take a step, now he stares at you, and then he approach to you, and now you know he's interested in you, and now he'd approach you and ask for your number. Okay, and then you give him your number. Then after a while, randomly, he started testing you, sending you messages just to see how you're doing, how you're faring, how your day was. Did you have dinner? What kind of food did you eat? All of those random tests. All right. When that is going on, just know that this guy is interested in you big time. Okay. Then another thing you want to look at for that, to know that a man is interested in you. You know, these eyes are very unique. If you look straight into those eyes, there's an inner black eye there. It's called the pupil. All right. The pupil, both of them. It's called the pupils. Now, when a man is talking to you, if he's interested in you, that pupil expands. Oh, this is a scientifically proven thing. You haven't tried it yet? I want you to give it a try. Just look at when a man is talking to you. If you want to know if he is interested in you, just look into those eyeballs and check out the pupil's eyes. They will expand whenever he's if he's talking to you and he's interested in you, those things will expand. Yeah. The amazing fact. Then another thing you want to look at for to know that a man is interested in you is that the first thing he will look for in every situation in his life is you. If he's looking for anything at home or around him, he will be looking. If he's interested in you, he's looking for you in every situation. Watch him when he walks through the room. Watch him when he's trying to look for the remote. Immediately he sees you and he stops looking around. That's the chance you need to pick. That's just to let you know. That is a sign that, oh, he's interested in me. Sometimes it has happened to me before. Even now, it does still happen to me with my wife. Sometimes I'm looking for something, and immediately I see her in the living room or in the room, I just stop. It's as though I forgot what I was looking for. And often before time, I may have called and say, honey, is there any, I'm looking for this thing. Have you found it? And she might be downstairs. And by the time I walk downstairs and then see her in the living room, and then it's as though what I was looking for just disappeared. That's it. So you become the focus, not what he was looking for anymore. That's just to let you know that he's interested in you. He likes you. Now, another thing you want to look at for to know that a man is interested in you is that he smiles at when you smile. He smiles at you in response to your smile. When you smile to him or smile at him, he will respond with a smile. He's away. He's just away. No matter how far the distance, maybe he might just be across the garden, or probably you are in the living room, you are inside the house, and he is outside and he's coming and you smile to him. He smiles back. Just try it in any distance. Maybe this guy has been talking to you and then you just smile at him and see what he does. If he's interested in you, he will smile back at you. Even in a pub or in a restaurant, maybe you're just eating in a pub, or even in a park. You're sitting in a park and you see this beautiful guy or handsome guy and then maybe just smile just to know whether he's interested in you. You can test that, and you smile at him. If he smiles back, you got a tick there. If he smiles back, that's it. That means he likes you too. So you need to know some of these things. These are very, very simple things to find out, but we are not paying attention to these things. Okay, another thing you want to pay attention to is how he treats other girls. If a man is interested in you, you want to pay attention to how he treats other girls. You see, how does he treat his mother? How does he treat his sister? You see, you want to find out how does he treat other girls that he comes in contact with. All right, watch out for that. Now, that's not the only thing, because the main thing is how he treats you differently. You want to know how he treats you differently. If he treats you differently, better off, more appreciated than the rest of these girls, whoops, you got it. He is so much into you. He's interested in you. Yeah. There's no doubt. You can bank on that. There's no doubt. Okay. Well, imagine a man, especially treats you more than the mother. He especially treats you more than his sister. You are just in for a good ride with him. He is so much interested in you. Okay. Now, another thing you want to look at for is he will want to be interested in your other friends, the friends you talk to, especially the boys you talk to. If you talk to any boys, you have a boyfriend as a casual friend, he will be interested in knowing them. He will ask you questions about them. He will ask you how long you'll be friends with them. He will ask you when you knew them. He will ask you how long you've been, in the same course or whatever you do with them. He will question all of these things. All right. Now, that doesn't mean that's not a negative sign at all. It's just to prove to you that he cares and is interested in you. So if a man is really interested in you, he will be interested in knowing the other men that you're going out, that you have as a friend, okay? Not the one you're going out with. I mean, of course, you're going out with him now. So he will be more interested in other boyfriends that you have, right? Casual boyfriends. And they want to know how close you are to them. Yeah, because he's interested in you. All right. So all you need to do, just comment on them. Just whatever questions he asks on it, just try and answer sincerely, because he's really interested in you. Another thing you want to look out for, that he will slow his walking pace with you. Every time you're going out, you guys are walking together, or you're going for a walk in the park, or maybe a run or something. He would like to be in the same walking pace with you. All right. If a man is interested in you, he won't walk away from you. He will just walk in the same pace with you. And this is just another scientific fact. It has been proven, it has been tested. I've tested it, I've worked it myself. I know how it is. This is exactly what it is. If you're interested in a lady and you're walking with that lady, there's no way you just want to walk past or give yourself away. I mean, you walk in line. You want to walk. You want to slow your pace of walk with that person. You want to walk in line. You want to ensure either she's ahead of you or you are just at the same pace with the person you're walking together. You know what I mean? Another thing you want to look at for is when he talks to you and he will tilt his head slightly. You know, when a man is interested in a woman, whenever he talks with a woman that he likes or he's interested in, he tilt his head slow. He slightly tilt his head, you know. He bends his head, you know, in a stylish way, you know, depending on what he's expressing and how he's expressing himself. But he always tilts his head to look at you, you know, just tilt his head to look at you, tilt his head slightly to look at you, just, you know, slowly looking at you. I don't know, guys does this. I've done it, so you know, it might be funny doing it, like, you know, oh, you look like, you know, there's a way they do men do it. So he's interested in you. That's just the way it is. You know, whenever a guy is actually paying attention to what you're saying, he does that. You know, he teats his head, you know, teats his head. Like, okay, yeah. He's interested. He's paying attention to what you're saying. So watch out for that. That's just to know that he's interested in you big time. Now, another thing you want to look out for is he will remember a lot of the tiny details you randomly throw into conversation. All right. He will remember a lot of the tiny details you randomly throw into conversation sometimes. Sometimes you might jokingly have said, oh, I like rose color, or I like rose color, and I like to wear clothes with rose color. Whatever you did, those minute details, he will remember them anytime, any day. And he's not a man who will forget your birthday. He's a man interested in you. He will remember your birthday. He will remember it. He will remember it. He won't forget all those things. He will remember your best color. He will remember if he is interested in you. Now, that doesn't mean that those things are the major thing that you have to look out for. Sometimes he may not remember at the time, but other traits, other attributes, it's just there. So you need to watch out for all of these attributes. Okay. Now, if a man is interested in you, this one is only true for like about 80% of guys, and I know I'm still trying to do my research on it, but so far 80% of guys does this. Okay, he will often fix his appearance when he's with you. No, he look at him, the way he dressed, so he's always like, you know, you know, check his shoe and adjust, he fixes appearance, and then he does this, and you're talking to him like, he's fixing his appearance whenever he's with you. Why is he doing that? Either he's touching or fixing his hair, adjusting his clothing, He's actually bothering to tie up all these things. So his shoes are there, like, oh, it's not properly clean, or he's just checking himself out. Oh dear. I remember many years ago, I was like this. I mean, oh dear. Okay, that's it. You want to know that a man is interested in you? There's more to it. Let me show you another one. If you ask him who he likes, and then he replies by asking you, who do you like? then there's a pretty good chance that he likes you. Unless he's someone who's struggling with trust. Anyone who struggles with trust will not ask you back, who do you like? If you say, who do you like? If you're asking him, um, who do you like? And he says, I don't like any, I don't know. Uh, uh, I'm not sure. Who do I like? I don't know. Just know that he is struggling with trust. That's one. Number two, he may be interested in you, but there may be problem. Probably he's struggling with trust. Okay, so don't try and capitalize on this particular one to know whether is interested in you or not. But if the guy asks you on a good note, he asks you, who do you like? So he replies with a smile, okay, tell me. You ask him, who do you like? And he's like, you tell me, who do you like? There you go. With that kind of reaction, he's interested in you. There's no two ways about it. All right. Now, another sign you want to look at for is that he will give into things you want to do. Oh, this is pretty. He will give into things you want to do. For instance, he may be a guy that loves watching football. And by the time you want to go out and you're asking him, oh, hey, babe, can we go out? Can you help? Can you follow me down to the roadside store or to the offline store, please, or to the supermarket, please? I would like to go with you. Would you mind? And he dumped the football. He gets up. Now this is a football lover, and he's a soccer lover. And then he leave all of those things, walk away with you. Oh, come on. What more sign do you want to get to know that this man is interested in you? You see. And he decides to go to wherever you want him to go to, or he decides to do whatever you want him to do at that moment without complaining. He might say, oh, babe, I'm watching this ball, that. Okay, let's go. Okay, that's fine. And then he goes with you. Wow. Or he goes to do whatever you ask him to do. Wow. That's just a beautiful sign there. So you need to understand, these are very, very unique things that you need to pay attention to. And that means he will not be able to, I want you to understand the point I just made. He will not be able to say no to you 99% of the time. If a man is interested in you, he will not be able to say no to you 99% of the time. There are things my wife now would tell me. Before now, there are things she would tell me before we got married that I hardly would say no to them. I hardly would say no to them. In fact, till now, 99% of the things that she would ask me or request of me, I do not say no. It's very difficult for me to say no. So that's how you know that a guy who is interested in you, a guy who loves you, or who is interested in you. And you want to take such men seriously. You want to respect such people, such men. All right. Another thing you want to look at for that, he will use a wider variety of facial expressions with you than he does with other people. In other words, it doesn't matter where he is with you. There are different expressions that comes from him. He can use a variety of facial expressions. So don't be scared. Don't say, oh, how look at that. No. He's just himself at that moment. He's just practicing being with you by himself, just being himself, just being all by himself with you. He's just practically real. Okay? So that's how you know that the guy is really interested in you. So you are just getting to know him, that he is just who he is. So he's not like pretending. You get it? So guys that does that have to express themselves facially through various ways. They are just practicing who they are. They're just trying to be free with you. They are not pretending. So it shows that he is interested in you. Okay? Then another thing that is very paramount, repetitive lip action. Repetitive lip action. If he is biting or licking his lips a lot when he is around you or talking with you. There's a chance that he's thinking about a lot of things. You know what I mean? He is thinking about a lot of things. He is thinking about so many things he would like to do with you or for you. And that is a brainer. So, here you have it. I have shared with you how to know that a man is interested in you. If you have these things there, you check them out. Come on, you can't miss it. You definitely know. And when you find out that this man is interested in you by walking this process, these signs, I tell you what, don't throw away the treasure you just found. That is a treasure. Don't throw away that treasure. Treat such man nicely. Be kind. Be patient. Be responsible, and also be respectful. And then you'll be amazed that you might end up being a wife to that man that you just found. So if you've enjoyed this video so far, I want you to hit the like button. And those of you who haven't subscribed yet, it is the first time of being in our channel, I will encourage you to subscribe right now. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And then share this video with your loved ones and friends. Again, I'm going to be coming your way to share more of this information with you. And until then, have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now. Hello, everyone. You're welcome to our broadcast today. This is Family Aspect. Today, I want to be sharing with you how to know a man is not interested in you. I did a previous video on how to know a man is interested in you, but today, I want to be sharing this one with you to know that a man is not interested in you. First, one of the most obvious signs is him asking about your social life, family, about your boyfriends, and all of that. Now, that is when he's interested in you. If he's interested in you, he asks about uh, your life, your social life. He's interested about your dreams, your visions, what you want to do, what you want to become, your friends, your list of friends, and all of that. But if he is not interested in you, then he won't bother. He won't bother to know about what you do. He won't bother to ask you about your social life. He won't bother to ask you about your friends. He won't bother to ask you about what you do or what you want to become. He won't bother about it. That is a sign that he's not interested in you. You got to know when a man is interested in you and when he's not. See. Number two, he would never ask you about your interest, your hobbies, or aspiration. If a man is interested in a woman, one of the things he would do is to ask questions about her interests, her hobbies, aspiration. What do you want to become? What do you want to have? Where do you want to go? What places do you like to visit? All of those wonderful, amazing questions that, things that will bring hope that there is something really going on between you two. But if he never asks about your interests, if he never asks about your hobbies, if he never bothered to ask about your aspirations, your dreams, what you want to be, do, have, if he never asks those things, then he's not interested. You can best count on it. He's not interested. If all that he's interested is to go to the room with you and just be on the best side with you, that's all, he's not interested. He's just looking for a bedmate. You need to know that. And number three, you need to avoid spending. Now, first of all, he will avoid spending time with you. Okay, avoid this kind of people. When he starts avoiding spending time with you on a one-on-one basis. In other words, you called, are you coming today? Can I see you? And then start avoiding you. It's giving one or two excuses all the time. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm going to be running late. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm working tomorrow. Oh, I'm so sorry, I can't afford to be around. I'm so sorry. All of that going on. And I'm not talking about dates. All right, he fails to comment on dates. I'm not talking about that. But if you and the guy cross paths, like on a commute, or he deliberately avoid talking to you, you see, that shows he's not interested. He's not interested. A guy is not interested in you if he doesn't talk to you anyway. He's not interested. So you need to know that. You see. Another thing is, every time he goes offline, whenever you are online, we are in the world of social media now, right? Every time he goes offline, immediately he sees you online, he goes offline. Maybe on Facebook, maybe on Instagram, maybe on TikTok. You see, wherever, maybe on, WhatsApp. All of this social media, he knows that you're there. So by the time he sees you come online, he goes offline. He's not interested in you. It's a huge sign. It's a huge sign, which means that he wants to avoid you at all costs, at any cost. You see, he wants to avoid you at any cost. And such a man, you need to really run away from. You should find your heels. Get to run. Another thing you want to find out that a man is not interested in you, when you are among a group of common friends, and then he belittles you, he speaks down of you, he even disrespects you, he doesn't even give you, he doesn't talk to you, or doesn't present you as though you are his friends or something. Now, don't think it is playful teasing. All right, don't think like that. This means he thinks you are not worth pursuing. It actually demonstrates that you are not worth having, you are not worth pursuing, or that he wants to keep you off from associating with him. He's just telling you, I'm not interested anymore. I don't want you. It's time. This is how you know that the man is tired. He doesn't want you. You see, he's not interested. Another thing you want to look out for is that he hangs out, or he's comfortable with people with specific characteristics which you do not have. All right, he would like to hang out with friends or colleagues who probably, maybe you don't, how would I put it, probably you are not an extrovert, okay? And then he knows you are not an extrovert, you're an introvert. So you like spending that moment time with him. But because of that, he would like to hang out with those who are extroverts, who like to go out all the time, and then putting you on that edge. You understand what I'm trying to say? Just consider other things that you may have as a kind of weakness. And then he tries to look at the other side of the people that have such characteristics that you don't have. And then he goes out and want to walk and spend time with them. You see, you know, you don't like this thing, but he would like to associate with people who like such things. You get the point? For instance, okay, there are guys who hang out exclusively um, with older women, or women who are less intellectual or aggressive women. These are just different characteristics. So he may want to he may want to spend time with, less intellectual women, because you are very intellectual, you are educated, you are smart, but he would like to spend less time with you and spend more time with those who are with less intellectual capacity, or with where you would like to spend time with women who are aggressive, or what they call the hot ladies. They say, "Oh, you are not a hot lady," so you would like to spend time with them. So, which is his personal preference. It depends on the guy. When he start behaving like that, it's obvious that he's not interested in you. Okay, and then he treats you like a normal friend. That's another thing. If he treats you like a normal friend or acquaintance, you do not know anything about him. You do not know anything about him or anymore. It's like he's now like a normal friend. There's nothing special. You don't know anything about him anymore. So you hardly want to find out things from him. He hardly talks to you. He hardly shares his experience. He just treats you as a normal friend. Hello, how are you? You okay? You fine? You good? Okay, I'll talk to you later. I'll speak to you later. Just normal friend. You don't know him anymore. It's obvious that he's not interested in you. Now, if you want to know more about this, just first of all, you want to find out if your guy is interested in you or not, or a man is interested in you, or is interested in the relationship or not. These are the things you need to check out for. And you'll be right off front to know that he's not interested in you. And that will save you a lot of heartache, a lot of heartbreak. It will save you a lot of headache. It will save you a lot of trauma. It will save you a lot of stress. And then you will be well off if you just pack your bags and walk out and find somebody who really cares, and someone who will treat you just as you are. I believe you have been inspired and you know what to do now. So if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, I encourage you to subscribe. If you're watching for the first time, you should be subscribing and like this video and share with your loved ones. I'm going to be coming your way again next time with another special episode or special information about dating and relationship and marriage. Until then, have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye for now. How do you make your husband fall in love with you again? Sometimes women experience the dryness of the love of their husband in a period of time in their relationship. In most cases, after a few months into marriage or a few years into marriage, the husband's love for them begin to dry up, begin to fade away. So, how do you make him fall in love with you again? That's one aspect of looking at this subject. In another way of looking at it is, how do you make any man who is interested in you and you think you guys are fit for marriage, how do you make that man fall in love with you? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'll be right back. Hello, you're welcome back. This is Family Aspect. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I want you to subscribe. And if you are just watching this video right now, hit the thumb up button to like the video. Now, how do you make any man or a man to fall in love with you? Now, first of all, this is a disclaimer. I do not know you, okay? I do not know who your husband is. So, I can only speak in generality or in generic term, okay? But things that will generally work for most men, that's what I'm going to talk about today. These are things that will generally work for any man. All right? Okay. So just in case you say, well, you don't know how my husband is, you don't know what kind of boyfriend I have, it doesn't matter. This will work for them. Be rest assured it's going to work. Okay? Now, make yourself pleasant. Number one thing you want to do to make a man, your husband fall in love with you is this. Make yourself pleasant to be around with. You got me? Make yourself pleasant to be around with. This is very key. You say, what do I mean? How do I do it? Talk to him about anything and nothing. Whatever. Keep the conversation balanced. You have to be alive. You have to be active. Talk to him. Keep the conversation balanced. In doing so, you are making yourself pleasant to be with. Listen when he talks. Okay? Listen when he talks, and at least pretend to be interested in what he has to say. And also, keep up on your end the conversation, because a lot of times when men are talking to women, the women try to sway off so quickly. You understand? They just sway off the conversation so quickly. Even the man can tell that she's no longer listening. The man can tell that you are no longer listening. You are no longer paying attention. No, you want to keep up your end of conversation because he needs your attention. Give your husband dedicated time when you are doing nothing. Give your husband dedicated time when you are doing nothing. But one thing I want you to do is spending time with him is very important. So practice that. Spending time with your man. Not talking to him while you are doing some hobbies or some things. No, it's like it's not like it's not talking to him during the commercials, the TV shows, or whatever you're doing. You understand? But whatever else you are doing, you want to make sure that you spend time to talk to him. You want to talk to him. You want to talk to him with interest, with attention. You see, this is so important. Make yourself. That's number one. I just showed you how to make him fall in love, the first thing you need to do, make yourself pleasant to be around with. And how do you do it? I just explained them. By talking with him all the time, spending time with him, and then don't just focus on yourself. You focus on him. You focus on him. And I try to explain some of the scenarios. Sometimes you're watching TV and he's talking to you. You are still watching TV and it's as though you're listening, but you're not listening. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's your hobby time. You're doing things that you love, that you want to do all the time, and then that's the only time you think, oh, he's talking to you. You just keep doing what you're doing. And what I'm trying to say is, give him attention. If you want to be pleasant around to be with, you have to be very, very good in talking to him. You have to be very, very good in communicating with your husband. That's a very important thing. And then number two, you want to make your man fall in love with you? Oh, I tell you this, make yourself pretty for him. A lot of women today, it's so challenging. A lot of women today, after they get married, they lose their self-presentation. They lose their prettiness. Most of them actually happens after giving birth to children. They lose their prettiness. They no longer see that makeup is important. They no longer see that dressing nice is important. For the most part, beauty is not something you are born with. It is something you do. You need to understand that beauty is not something you are born with. It is something you do. You want to make your husband fall in love with you? You want to make your man fall in love with you? Again, you need to reawaken. You need to activate your prettiness. You need to present yourself pretty. You see, I told you before, let me say it again. I say most part, beauty is not something you are born with. Sometimes you say, well, no, I like my natural beauty. If he doesn't like it, that's fine. No, beauty is something you do. Of course, we'll talk about the inner beauty, which is your character, your self-worth, self-love, all of those inner beauties. We'll talk about those ones. But now I'm talking about how you look, your appearance. Get yourself a good weight. Some women, after giving birth, they just allow their body to flop everywhere. The man may not like it, but he won't talk about it. Some are good enough to mention it and talk to you about it, and somehow you get offended again. So they just stop talking about it. But that makes their love for you to twinkle, to dry up without knowing. So get yourself a good weight. All right? Grow your hair long if you want to. Because listen, the Holy Bible says that the hair of the woman is our glory. You see, your hair, your covering, makes you beautiful. Your hair is your covering. It makes you look beautiful. So take care of your hair. Most women don't dress up their hair. Some women don't even make their hair after a long time, for a long time. Not because they don't have the money, because they don't just feel like it. You have to look good. Make yourself pretty for your husband. Dress in a nice clothes. Look beautiful. Look sexy to your husband or your man. You want to look. You want him to fall in love with you. This is the way. It can't be any other way. This is the way. So dress in a nice clothes. Wear some jewelries and makeups. Look nice. Makeup. If you don't know how to make up, go watch some YouTube videos. Watch some videos on how to do makeups. There are many beauty channels that you can follow and learn how to do your makeups and select your jewelries. This is so important. Do not doubt having physical flaws, okay? We all do. Don't be obsessed over them. We all do, okay? Cover up the negative, and also and also emphasize the positive, which is very key. Cover up the negative. You say, oh, this mark on my face. Oh, these wrinkles on my face. Oh, this ache on my face, acne on my face. No, you don't need all of that. Cover them up. Amplify the positive of your side. If it is your whatever shape you have, amplify your positive. Look at yourself and look at your positive. You see, what part of you, of your body that looks amazing, that is attractive, amplify that one. You get it? Amplify it to him. If you could think, how did this man get attracted to you in the first place? How did he end up chasing you? You want to look at that and then amplify those things. All right? You must look pretty. Men like to look at pretty women. You know that already. I don't need to tell you. Men like to look at pretty women, and men especially like to have pretty wives. Understand this. Men like to have pretty wives. It keeps the love on. It keeps the love growing. You see, a man is proud to have a pretty wife. I want you to notice this. This is so important. A man is so proud to have a pretty wife. He feels like he has accomplishment, he has accomplished something very huge, very successful. Because to him, you are an award winner to him. You are a winning woman to him. You are, it's like, I don't know how to put it. You are like a treasure that was found in the battlefield. To him, you are like a treasure found in the battlefield, a spoil that was recovered from war. It's like you are like a victory band. Do you understand? To him. So if you think this is shallow or unimportant, or and he should not care, he should care about your intelligence or your achievement, not your beauty, just not just how you look. He should care about your inner beauty, not how you look outside. You better get over that now. You see, that's not going to work. If you want to have a happy marriage, you better get over that silly thinking. That thinking, you better get over it now. It is vitally important, all right, to 90% of men that their wives or their lady looks pretty. Vitally important to 90% of men that their woman looks pretty. You need to take that seriously. And another thing you want to do to make him fall in love with you is this. This is very important. And I won't have to explain it because it's self-explanatory. Be available to him sexually. Be available to him sexually. It's so important. Enough said of that, because I won't have to say much, because you know what that means, how important that is. I understand that a lot of women complain about being tired, about having too much work to do, or they can't continue. The man asks for it's too much. I'm tired of giving to him. It doesn't matter. If he is your man, he is your man. Who else should have it if not him? Be available to him sexually is so important. All right. Now, another thing you want to look at is do recreational things together. What does he love to do? What does he love? What does he love to play with? Do it together. Involve in his recreationality. Involve in his activities of recreation. If he likes to go out to jog, why don't you join him to jog? If he likes to play some games, why don't you join him to play the game? If you like to sing, why don't you join him to sing? If you like to play instruments, why don't you just try and be there and support him? See, do recreational things together. If he likes to do whatever, go fishing, say let's go. Then go fishing with him. You see, or go to concert or museums or whatever it is that he loves to do. You want to go with him. You see, you go and do that with him. Go and have fun. Try as much as possible to do this with him because you want your man to be in love with you. This is the way. Try to find things that you both like to do and enjoy doing it together. When you do that, you will make huge impact. These are things you can do consciously. But if you can't find anything you enjoy of, of itself, you enjoy yourself, try to enjoy it. Because you see, in most cases, women will say, well, I don't enjoy doing what he does. I don't like what he does. That's why. Okay, you don't like what he does. I understand. But you got to try to enjoy it anyway. If you want to make him fall in love with you, you have to try. This is one of the principles you have to put to work. Spending time together. That's the key. Because when you join him in those activities, you are creating opportunities to spend time together, to get to know each other, bond the more together. This is so important. And I mean, if he agrees to do something that you think is fun, but he doesn't particularly enjoy, try to make it fun for him. It's so important. All right. So most men would be happy to go to an event they consider boring with their wives if their wife dresses up pretty for the event. So while she's watching, whatever, he can be looking at her and enjoying her. What I mean by that is it comes to a time whereby, let's say you like going to parties or you like doing this, that's your recreation, whatever it is. If he doesn't like it, dress up nice. When you dress up nice, look beautiful, he will be forced to follow you to that place. It may be a concert, it may be a cinema, whatever it is. Look beautiful, dress gorgeously. That he will force to say, man, you're looking beautiful. Is that where you're going with this? And I said, then you say, well, you know what? That's why I'm asking you to follow me. Let's go. Oh boy, I tell you what, 99% of the time, the men will go with you. They will definitely want to go that place with you. So try these tricks. It works. It works amazingly. Okay, another thing you want to do is to treat him with respect. I know most women have difficulty with this, but it's very simple. Respect is very simple. Respect is that I value you more than myself. That's it. Respect is an act of selflessness. It is birthed by sacrificial or self-sacrifice, okay? Selflessness. So until you know the key of selflessness, you won't be able to understand the power of respect. So respect is to honor someone more than you honor yourself, is to reverence someone or give huge honor to someone more than you do to yourself. So it's like loving someone more than you will love yourself. I'm not saying don't love yourself, but it's just like the word of Christ says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's respect. Just as you respect your body, you respect yourself, you can respect your husband. Now, he's not your child. When it comes to respect, remember this. Your husband is not your child. Your husband is not your servant. He is your husband. So don't nag. Never say to yourself, it's for his own good. I'm trying to talk to him for his own good. No, don't do that. Many wives makes their husband miserable by nagging them about something bad habit, or the husband has or something, or at least that the wife considered a bad habit, whichever one that you consider a bad habit. Listen, don't nag over it. Don't nag. Even the Holy Bible said that if a woman that nag would drive the wife away, the husband away, and makes the husband live on top of the roof. What does that mean? He will stay more outside than he would rather stay with you and spend time with you. And you don't want that. So stop nagging, especially you women that nag. You're watching me now. Stop nagging. All right? Stop complaining. And they will feel no. Now, this is very important. I'm saying it because it's important to making your husband fall in love with you. Okay? There are some women, they nag so much that they feel no guilt about being rude. They don't just feel it. They feel no guilt about being rude or annoying. Because to them, it's like, oh, it's for his own good. If he will just listen to me, he will be much better off. If he will just listen to me. Listen, hear me. Don't. Don't do it. Don't do it. You want your husband to love you? Don't do it. A good wife can make, listen to this, a good wife can make her husband a better person by reminding him that he should take a shower, take his medicine, stop biting his fingernails. So it's by caring, in reality, by caring, not by nagging. You see. So you look at for things that will help improve his life, and remind him how he should get, how those things will help improve his life. That's by caring. When you do it right, he does it right. All right. When you do it right, he will do it right. So here's the point. Every time you tell him to do something that will help him improve, get better, he will respond and say, yeah, you're right. I should do that. You're right. I should probably do that. That's what he says. So these key points, if you will practice them every day, stop nagging. Number one, I said, make yourself pleasant to be around with. It's so important that you make yourself pleasant to be around with. There's nothing better than that. All right? Then I talked about how you should do that. Then I said, make yourself pretty for him. You got to look beautiful. Take care of your body. Take care of your shape. I don't know how much I can emphasize this enough, but this is so important. It will change a whole lot of things for your marriage and relationship. All right? This is so important. Then I say, be available to him sexually. Be available to him sexually. Enough said of that. You know what it means. Then I also encourage you, do recreational things together. Do recreational things together. Whatever he likes to do, join him with him. You want to join him. You want to join and enjoy the process. It's so important. It's so important. Then I said, treat him with respect. If you would do these things, you will be amazed how your husband would turn out to fall in love with you like crazy. These things are very, very important. So I've shared with you how to make a man fall in love with you again. That's what I've shared with you. And it works all the time. I told you before, 90% of men respond to these things I've just shared with you. 90% of men respond to it. Well, there you have it. If you have been watching this video so far, I want you to hit the like button again and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. I believe you enjoyed this broadcast, this a little tip of dating advice that I give on Family Aspect channel. There are a lot of other videos that you can watch that will help you on our channel. I want you to take a look at them and see what you can implement in your personal life and relationship with your husband or wife. So thank you so much for listening, and I'm going to come your way again with another episode or special video that will blow your mind. Until then, have a lovely day. Peace. Hello, you're welcome to the channel today. I want to be sharing with you on how to make a man regret losing you. A lot of times, we do not know how much valuable of what we have until we lose them. Well, today, I'm going to be sharing with you on the things that you have to do to make that man know that, oh, he just lost a jam and regret losing you. Yeah. So I'll be right back. See you soon. You're welcome back. How to make a man regret losing you. Now, the way to get back to him is to be perfectly happy without him. That's number one. You have to be perfectly happy without him, not by being miserable. Because if you're miserable, you will not really, he thinks he got you. If you appear miserable, if you appear frustrated, if you appear confused, he thinks he got you. And when he thinks he got you, he got you. But what are you going to do? You're going to act the other way. You're going to switch the opposite, okay? You're going to act the other direction. The way to get back at him is to be perfectly happy without him. You got to prove that you're happy. Not miserable, but you're happy. There is nothing that will make him mad. All right? There's a word like that. Than seeing you perfectly happy without him. He will make him crazy just to see you perfectly happy without him. But if you're miserable, you're going to send out a signal. And that's a wrong signal. And you're giving him exactly what he wants. Yeah, he will say, I've got her. I think this is where I want her to be. She'll know that I've been very, very important to her in her life. You see? Why? Because you're sending her the wrong signal through miserableness. So your misery, you acting miserable, now she think, I got you. But you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that he sees how happy you are. And you got to find a way to be happy. You got to make yourself happy. Okay? It's very important. Then the next thing you want to do is live your life. A lot of women find it very difficult to live their life when a man leaves them, when their husband divorced them, or when they run away with another woman. They find it very difficult to live their life. You got to live your life. Don't post. I watched a video recently how a woman was crying on the social media, crying on YouTube, how the husband left her. She was crying for days. She did the video for about 2-3 days. And all she was doing was acting miserable. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Live your life. Don't post on social media. In fact, for a while, stay away from social media. Let him wonder what you're doing. Let him wonder where you are. You see, have fun without posting about you or what you're doing online. You see, you got to do that. Practice it. Listen, you want to truly enjoy your life. Okay? So you make up your mind, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live my life. He may come back. He may not come back. It doesn't matter. But don't run behind him. Don't start doing things as though you're looking for him. Don't start doing things as though you want him to observe you. Make your look crazy. All right? Let me say this. In other words, do things that will make him crazy. Do things that will make him crazy. That, oh my God, you mean this lady's, oh, she's not even feeling anything? Yeah. Otherwise, if you're running after him, if you're trying to you're looking miserable, you're trying to do things and you can't even live your life, it makes you look Very crazy. Now, so don't start asking about his friends, or start posting. You want to talk to his friend, you want to talk to his relatives, don't do all of that. Stay away from that. You want to stop being crazy about him. Okay, that's what you want to do. At that moment, you say, I can't do this. I'm not going to run after you. I'm not going to go crazy about you. I have to stop being crazy about him. You make up your mind. So you put all your effort into improving yourself. That's the only way this can work. Because I see a lot of women going through all of these emotional trauma without knowing how to handle it. Some men are just bound to do things like that. There are men that are not marriageable. I've told you before. There are men who are actually horrible husbands. But many women don't know that. And because of it, they fall into the web of these horrible men, and who became horrible husbands. And then they live their life horribly. And what you get is mystery. I mean, misery. All right? You get misery. You see, you get misery. You don't want that. So, here's what you want to do. Once he sees you, immediately you put all your efforts to make yourself happy. All right? Trust me. Once he sees you happy without him, he will start missing you. He will start going crazy about you. He will start thinking, what on earth was I doing? How come I left this woman? However, you have to show yourself some respect. It's very important. Don't get back to someone who broke your heart in the first place. All right? You have to learn to do that. Otherwise, he will break it again. He will keep breaking your heart. So if he did something that you know that eventually he was wrong, he broke your heart, he cheated on you, he did something that he didn't supposed to do as a husband, all right, that is very, very unthinkable. Obviously, a lot of marriage today go through these normal, they see it as a normal routine now, on cheating on their wives, or wife cheating on their husband. All right, but that's bad. That's terrible. Okay, so accept that. So you have to be happy on your own. Don't try and get back to him because of that. It's okay, I forgive him. He's cheating on me. I forgave him. So he's going to cheat on you again. You see. So make up your mind to live your life, and you want to ensure that you respect yourself. And the reason why he left must be ironed, must be dealt with. All right. Now, another thing you want to do is that you don't want to downgrade yourself for someone. You don't want to downgrade yourself for anyone. You have to learn to grow yourself, even if you are just alone. It doesn't matter where you are at this moment. If you find yourself alone, that is a moment to grow. In fact, the reason why you were single before you got married, it was to help you grow, mature in your mind, mature in your emotion, mature spiritually. You see, physically, spiritually, and mentally, you needed to be mature. So again, if you find yourself single or being alone, that's just another beautiful opportunity for you to grow. Grow yourself. Become who you want to be. Be a woman of respect, of value, a woman of substance. Add value to yourself in those moments. Learn to be happy with yourself. Learn to live your life without dependent of anyone. Listen, there are over 7 billion people in the world, and you deserve someone special, someone who will love you for you, someone who will just take you for who you are. You deserve that. So here's my point. You need to be strong. You need to be yourself. All right? You need to be perfectly okay. Accept what is real. Yes, he left. Accept the reality. Now you don't want to be running around. You don't want to look miserable. You don't want to be asking his friends and the family members, oh, can you help me? Can you do? No. Live your life. Get off of social media. Don't post anything about your life in that period of time on social media. Let him wander around where you are. Let him wander around with you, what is wrong with you, what's going on with your life. Let him wander and respect yourself. Stay focused. Don't want to accept any man back who will break your heart. No. So you want to stop being miserable, acting miserable. All right? That's what you want to do. So put all the effort you can muster into improving yourself in this period of time where you're alone. Because it's a moment where you need to grow. You need to build yourself. You see, you have to learn to be happy on your own. That's where you have to. You see, a lot of times the problem that marriages have is that most people haven't learned to be happy on their own. So when they come into marriage, they think the husband or the wife is going to make them happy. So when they fail to do that, they are miserable. No, learn to make yourself happy and do not downgrade yourself. Do not belittle yourself. Work on your self value. You see, work on your self value. Work on your self confidence. You see, improve yourself. It's so important. Improve yourself. Improve yourself. Grow, grow, and grow. That's the time you need to grow. And when you do that, you'll be amazed. He will be crazily looking for you. He will be crazily trying to, he will regret ever leaving you. And if you want him back, this will make him get back to you too. I trust he will get him back to you. Otherwise, you just need to pick up someone else. There's 7 billion people in the world. Would you care? Someone is definitely there to love you as you are. I believe you have been imparted. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, hit the subscribe button right now. And hit the like button if this video was valuable to you. Hit the like button and share with those you think may want to hear this. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you again in another episode. Now, remember, we have other videos that we have created in our channel, in our playlist, that is obviously directly to relationship, marriage, and all of that. Take a look at them, and that will help you. All right? I'll see you again. Until then, bye. Hello, you're welcome to our channel today. This is Family Aspect, and I want to be sharing something very, very important with you. Now, if it is your first time today of joining us, don't go anywhere. Watch this video to the end, because I'm about to share with you 8 unhealthy communication skills in marriage. 8 unhealthy communication skills in marriage that brings unhealthy relationship, unhealthy family, unhealthy communication is leading to divorce in many families today. So we want to be talking about this very importantly. Why do we have unhealthy communication in family? What are these unhealthy communication? How can we handle them? How can we get rid of them in our relationship? So watch and don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. You're welcome back. It's unhealthy communication skill in marriage. Using one of the things I want to bring to your attention is using silent treatment to get your way or hurt your spouse. Doing that produce unhealthy marriage, produce unhealthy relationship. There are many people who actually have this challenge of treating their spouse with silent treatment. You don't talk to your spouse when something happens. That's your way of communicating to your spouse, or that's actually what you think will work well with your spouse. But let me tell you something, that makes your marriage uh, unhealthy. It poses threat to your relationship with your spouse. You cannot use silent treatment to get your way or hurt your spouse as a way of communication. It's unhealthy. In fact, these unhealthy communication skills that people have developed over the years has led to numerous or countless divorce that we record in marriages today. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to encourage that in your life or in your family. Think about it. I mean, something happened, no one is talking to each other. I mean, the husband is refused to talk to the wife refused to talk to the husband, and everyone is just, ignoring each other. Silent treatment is not encouraging in relationship. So another thing you want to take note of is interrupting your spouse when they are trying to speak to you. It's a very, very bad way of communicating. It actually means you are ignoring the communication already established. Your spouse is trying to talk to you and is establishing communication with you, and all you do is to interrupt by the things you do or by trying to ask questions. Imagine you are answering a question with a question. Your spouse asks you, why is this like this, and you say, what do you mean? That is not an answer. That is an interruption. We have different type of this kind of interruption coming in as a way of communicating, and it's wrong. It's unhealthy. Interrupting your spouse when they are trying to speak to you is a very negative way of communicating in your relationship, and it will lead to unhealthy marriage. It will lead to unhealthy relationship. You see, you don't want that to happen to you. You don't want to cultivate that. Now, that may have been going on in your relationship, but now you want to stop it. You want to think about it this way. I don't need to have this. It's wrong. What do you mean? Well, I'll explain why it is wrong. First of all, your spouse is your partner, is your friend, is your soulmate. They have feelings. Sorry about that. I got in the messages. They have feelings. They have things to do, to say to you. And those things they want to do or say to you is important to them. So when they try to speak their feelings, communicate their emotions to you, that's when you should listen. You don't want to interrupt them. You want to pay attention to what they have to say. Because by doing so, you are helping your relationship to grow. You are enabling a healthy environment in your marriage, in your relationship. This is so important. So stop trying to interrupt your spouse whenever they want to speak something that they feel you need to know or something important to them. Learn to listen, especially you guys. Men, we have to learn to listen to our wives. Let them speak. Give them a listening ears. Pay attention to what they have to say. Also, wife, do the same thing. It's so important. Then when you do that, you're building a healthy relationship. Now, another thing you want to avoid, which is unhealthy communication in marriages today, is playing on your phone during important discussions. When your wife or your husband is talking to you, you are walking using the phone. At this era where we have social media and all of these activities going on the internet, we are easily carried away. You can be on a YouTube or Facebook page, and you'll be scrolling and scrolling from timeline to another timeline. You're just scrolling and scrolling informations. The same thing with Instagram. We are engrossed, captivated by many things that we see. So in such a situation where your spouse is discussing important issues with you, that is not the time when you want to play on your phone. This mode of communication is unhealthy. I know there are spouses, husbands, or wives that spend hours on phone just scrolling through Instagram pages, scrolling through Facebook pages and YouTube pages, and hours, ignoring their spouse, ignoring their loved ones who need their attention. You can't have that going on and expect to have a successful relationship or a successful marriage. You need to stop that kind of activity. Play Playing on your phone during important discussion is a no-go area. It's something that you must avoid in your relationship, because that kind of mode of communication is unhealthy. That can lead to a lot of decisions that may go wrong, a lot of decisions that may affect your relationship in the long run, and you want to avoid that. Okay, very important. Another thing that is unhealthy to your relationship is emotionally shutting off or being overly defensive when conversation topic becomes serious. This happens a lot, and it used to happen to me and my wife in my relationship, because you see, emotionally shutting off is one of the things that she normally does when we have intense serious issues or conversation going on. But I needed to begin to explain to her that it is an experiment, it is an opportunity to air her view. She cannot just shut off, she cannot just emotionally shut down. Women are used to that. Most men do it as well. But in reality, you don't want that to be part of your practice in relationship. It is unhealthy, very much unhealthy. You don't want to practice that, because when you shut off like that, it means you become defensive. It helps you to become defensive. A lot of times, some people, some couples are very outspoken. They are very defensive by being outspoken. So they want to speak to defend themselves when a conversation is going on, and that can lead to intensive arguments, intensive fights that you don't want to really experience in your relationship. Again, it leads to unhealthy practices. Unhealthy communication leads to unhealthy marriages, unhealthy relationship, and that can lead to divorce, separation. So you need to be very careful on how you relate with your partner, how you communicate. These are very important things. Do not emotionally shut them off when they are having serious conversations with you. Or don't be defensive. For instance, the husband asks you, why is so and so something not done? And then you pose like, must I be the one to do it? That's sounding defensive. You can explain better. You can use some quality words to express yourself, not just questioning or retaliating. But you need to understand what I'm trying to say. So do not emotionally shut your spouses off when you're going through a serious conversation with them, or becoming defensive. It will lead to unhealthy relationship. That alone can lead to separation if it is overly practiced. That's very important. So another point that I want you to note again is this: purposely belittling or disrespecting your spouse is a negative way of communication. You don't want to be belittled. Why belittle others? When you deliberately, purposely belittle your spouse or disrespect them, whether publicly or privately, is unhealthy. That skill of communication is not supposed to be practiced by couples or spouses that love themselves. So in reality, you need to avoid that. So stop trying to belittle or disrespect your spouse. You don't want that. You don't want to practice that. It will make them emotionally vulnerable. And then not only that, it means you you break them down emotionally, mentally, and physically. It's like they don't matter to you. They are not worth anything to you. So don't do it. It's wrong. It's terribly wrong. Really, it's something any man or a woman should avoid in their relationship. Okay, all right. That's another thing you want to look at, and something else you want to look at is avoid frequently going to bed angry. Now, we're talking about unhealthy communication skills in marriage that must be avoided. You see, frequently going to bed angry in marriage is something that you have to avoid as a couple. It's unhealthy, it's destructive, it's scheming, it's worse than a cancer in the bones. Trust me, you don't want that. How does it feel like? Because we have an argument and then I go to bed, turn the other way. My wife go to come to the same bed, turn the other way. And inside us is unresolved issues. We are angry at each other. What do you think is going to happen? A lot of thoughts will come to our mind. Are we supposed to be doing this? You'll be wondering the kind of thoughts that will be going through your mind as a man or as a woman. Am I supposed to be in this relationship? You'll be amazed. Some kind of terrible thoughts that will be coming to you. Maybe I'm just supposed to be somewhere else. I think we need a divorce. We can't continue like this. You'll find out that you're considering a lot of unhealthy thoughts that will eventually put both of you asunder, and you don't want that to happen to you. So, frequently going to bed angry is a no-no. It's something you want to avoid in your relationship. You want to stay away from it completely. You want to walk away from that kind of attitude. It's dangerous. It's bad. It's wicked. It's not something that you want to do. So what do? Resolve your anger. Resolve your conflict. When I mean resolve your anger, resolve your conflict. In other words, if something happened, talk about it before bedtime. Talk about it before you sleep. Talk about it. Even though in the bed, wake your spouse up and say, you know what? Let's talk about this thing. Let's deal with it. We can't continue like this. We have to stop this. We need to sort out this difference and do it amicably, not with quarreling. You don't want to begin to further the anger. You don't want to keep quarreling about it. You don't want to just talk in peace. Look at the differences. Look at what the issue is. Then you just need to submit or admit to one another. And so, okay, yes, I'm wrong. Yes, I'm right, whichever way. And then make peace. If you don't, if you keep frequently going to bed angry, very soon you're going to tender a divorce, or you're going to begin to ask for a separation between you and your spouse. And that's not what you want. That's not what the children want to see. And you don't want that to happen. So that's why I classify it as unhealthy communication in marriage. Now, another thing you want to avoid is having screaming matches with one another. You know what I mean? Screaming matches. It's like a competition. This one is screaming, the other one is screaming. It used to happen to me in my marriage, but I needed to learn something better. I knew it was a wrong practice. I knew it's something I didn't want to get myself involved in the future. So I changed. So what did I do? I began to learn the benefit of not even screaming at all, and also understanding that two wrongs, let me put it this way, because I wanted to use another riddles, but two wrongs can never make right. Okay, so the reason we have this screaming matches because both of us are trying to make points. We're trying to air our point. So one person must have to listen to me. This one, you must listen to me. This one says, no, you have to listen to me. So we have this screaming matches going on. And then when things happen, this one, the whole house is in a disarray. I mean, neighbors are wondering what's going on. We can't do that. That's the very negative way of communication. And that alone can actually destroy homes and is unhealthy. You need to stay away from that practice. Okay, sorry about that. Another thing you want to look at is using violence. Using violence as an outlet for frustration is wrong. Using violence as an outlet for frustration is wrong. This is where partner assault or throwing things across the room as a way of frustrating the other is wrong. What happens if what you're throwing gets to hit your partner and he falls down and died? Did you know that a lot of partners have lost their spouses by this practice as a result of violence? We speak against domestic violence a lot in our channel, and it's not something you want to practice. You have to avoid domestic violence. It's not the best way of communication. You don't try to make things right by being violent. You don't try to make someone listen to you by being violent. You don't try to get respect and respect by being violent. You don't want to try to make someone a bit afraid of you because through violence, all right? You don't want to do that. Using violence as an assault or throwing things across the room as an outlet for frustration is a very bad, negative, unacceptable, unhealthy practice in marriage. You want to avoid that. You want to stop doing that. Otherwise, of course, we know what will happen. And many homes have been broken as a result of this frequent practice, this regular practice of using violence to express themselves. Don't do it. If your partner is violent, you need help. You need to call for help. You need someone to help you. Otherwise, one day he may start using his violence to destroy you or destroy the things around you. You don't want that to happen. So watch out for that, because that's a very, very bad way of communicating with anyone. You don't want that to happen. Okay. Now, another thing I want to talk about today, which is obviously the eighth part. I think I just mentioned the eighth portion. All right. The 8th point. Okay. The 8th point is using violence I wasn't counting it, so I knew I had 8 points. So I think I've mentioned it. I mentioned the last one now. So here's what I want you to know. Instead of letting these things, unhealthy communication, instead of letting this unhealthy communication or healthy behavior crowd your ability to communicate, take a deeper breath, or take a deep breath. That's better. Take a deep breath and refocus your intention now. You see, refocus your intention. What exactly are you trying to communicate? What exactly are you trying to express? Take a deep breath. And then think about what you're trying to say. Think about what you're trying to express. And then try again. And you'll be amazed that you will do it right this time. You see, if you have been watching these videos this far, I say congratulations to you. And also, if you're watching for the first time and you haven't subscribed to this channel, hit the subscribe button right now. Even though we have been reminding you all the while, do it now. This is the time to do it. I'll wait for you. You go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now. And also, the bell notification button. You need to hit the bell notification button to receive a notification whenever we upload new videos regarding what we're sharing on this channel. Thank you so much for being part of this channel and viewing our videos, many other videos you've watched. I really appreciate it. And if you want to learn more about marriage, preparing for marriage, and avoiding violence, and also, or you want to have advice or ideas about dating tips about dating, now we have a lot of videos in our channel that you can watch. So I encourage you to go take a look at them and watch and enjoy yourself. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back again to share more with you. Now, if you have any question, if you have any contribution to make, I would like you to leave it on the comment section below. And also, you can drop a message there if you want to speak to us. We'll be able to get to you. But until then, have a beautiful day. I'll see you again. Bye for now. Hello, you're welcome to our channel again. This is Family Aspects, and I'm so happy to share some of these things I want to share with you today. How to bring back intimacy into your marriage. Maybe after children, maybe before children. You haven't even had children yet. But it's like you have journeyed in your relationship into sexual desert. You know what I mean? In other words, there is no more energy, no more fuel, no more excitement, no more sexual commitment, no intimacy in your relationship anymore. And that's what you've been going through. I heard a story of a couple who, after a minor argument and some other subsequent indifferences that they had, led to them separating for a while, because they separated and they were sleeping in their different rooms. Then when they came back together after they resolved the situation, they could not, get back their intimacy anymore. And it's over 3 years now, the lady said, that she had sexual intercourse with so-called her husband. Things have been going just like friends and casual friends relationship at home. So they just leave, talk, take care of the kids as husband and wife. They would just as father and mother. You know what I mean? But when it comes to sexual intimacy, when it comes to intimacy at all in the relationship, they are actually struggling. Now, there are many people doing that today. There are many people going through all of that. But today, I want to share how you can bring back intimacy into your marriage, irrespective of what has happened before. So watch out for the details. I'll be back soon. Hey, you're welcome back. Now, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I want you to subscribe, because what I'm about to share with you, we just blow your mind. Not only it will help you come back and activate your relationship intimately, no matter how long you've been apart from each other. Now, how do you bring back intimacy into your marriage? How are you going to do it? Is it possible? Some people think that it's never going to be possible. I heard the lady said that no, it's over 5 years now. I've not had intimacy with my husband. I don't think that can be revived. We don't even want to talk about it. Listen, that situation is not too late. If you are in that situation, you have hope. Trust me, there's something you can do. That's why we're bringing this communication to you today, this topic to you today, how to bring back intimacy into your marriage. How do you bring it back? What are you supposed to do? Well, I'm going to be sharing a few points with you, probably 10 points. I want you to note them. And I'm going to be quick, but I want you to play this video again and again. You'll be able to understand what I'm sharing with you. Number one, if you want to bring back intimacy into your marriage, number one thing you must do, change your pattern of initiating sex in your marriage. A lot of times we have problem with couples who have always maintained one particular pattern of having sex in their relationship. And that can be tiring, that can be boring. Sometimes it might just be a particular boring position, boring pattern. And it has been boring for over 10 years, boring for over 15 years. What are you going to do? You need to change. This is the time to change your pattern. Look into your pattern of initiating sex. How do you do it? How do you initiate it? Is it the man that always initiates it, or the woman that should always initiate it? In most cases, I've always said that women are supposed to be the initiator of sex. They are the one that should, stir up the man to make those moves. And look at that pattern. How is it done? How is it being initiated? It's so important, because if you don't talk about how it is being initiated, then there's going to be challenges in initiating it in the first place, because it's not being talked about. Maybe you are denying your partner, or it depends. Maybe you're denying your partner, all right, or coming onto you so strong. So probably your partner, every time he comes to you so strong about it, you deny it. You say no. The way you act, even though you may have been interested in it, but the initiation is wrong. Something is wrong with the initiation. All right. So avoid criticizing each other and stop blaming each other, because a lot of times there's this blame game that goes on when it's time for intimacy. Oh, you didn't do this well. Oh, you were told you were talking. Oh, you were too noisy. Oh, you were just there. Now, this blame game had to stop. Otherwise, it dies off. It kills. It paralyzes intimacy in relationship. All right. So it's time to mix things up. You need to mix things up. End the struggles, because a lot of times we have this major fight going on in the bedroom. You need to stop that. That's the wrong way of initiating it. You don't need to fight over it. You don't need to quarrel over it. If you do, the next time you're not going to have any interest in it. Okay. All right. So it is very important. You have to practice what works. Practice what is working for you. So the first point you want to note is that you have to change your pattern of initiating sex. How are you initiating it? Okay. Is it in a subtle way? Why avoiding other things that may hurt you, depending on how it's being done? How are you doing it? Because I can't specifically give you one particular example of what you should follow. All right. But just look at your initiative pattern. All right. Look at your initiation. How is it going on? The way you're initiating sex, how is it going on? Is it a good pattern? Change it. Change your pattern. Learn more pattern on initiating sex. That's the number one key you want to take note of. Then another thing you want to take note of is this. Now, this is number two. Number two, hug and hold hands more often with your partner. I can't overemphasize this enough. I did a video on the power of hugging your spouse and your children. Go and watch the video. It's on our playlist. You will be amazed how powerful that this thing does. This emotional, physical affection. All right, how it's so powerful to awaken your intimacy in your relationship, no matter how dead it has been. If you will hug your spouse, your husband, now frequently, some women have never been hugged by their husband for a long time. Can you imagine that? You're living with a man, you're married, and you don't hug. And even the kiss that you have is just a peck, it's just a cheek kiss. You do a cheek, you do a cheek kiss. How long would that take you? So practice hugging each other often and hug each other sincerely, passionately. It's called strong hug. Hug each other strongly. Hold hands more often when you walk, when you take a walk, when you go out. You see, it's according to the author, Dr. Corey Floyd. He said holding hands, hugging, and touching can release oxytocin. There's a fluid, an energy, oxytocin. He said it can release it, causing a calm sensation. Think about it. I just remember his quote now when I read one of his book, Corey Floyd. That's the man, Corey Floyd. All right. So he encourages his hugging, holding hands, touching. How important this is. All right. You need to study these things, practice it. All right. You need to, I cannot emphasize this enough. All right. I don't know what more I could use to describe the power of hug, the power of touching your spouse. You know, playful touch, physical affection produce stress hormones. Listen, let me show you something. Physical affection produces stress hormones, lowering daily levels of the stress hormones cortisols. Okay, it is so important to understand that. Let me try and rephrase that again, because I'm trying to remember what Dr. Floyd wrote and spoke about this. Additional affection, he says, is a physical affection. Applying physical affection produce stress hormones. It lowers the stress that you get every day. When you hug each other, it reduces stress. It reduces daily stress that you go through. That's the best way I can put it. So first, it produces that hormones that causes stress to be reduced, that combats stress. Do you understand? So physical affection, touching is very important. That's the most important one I will actually emphasize on this particular topic, because it's so important. It helps you to get into the mood of intimacy that will not lead to sexual intimacy. It's good. There must be an affection. Affection leads to sexual intimacy. Sexual intimacy is not affection. Affection leads to sexual intimacy. We must understand the difference. If you are not affectionate, you cannot get intimacy from sexual intimacy from your partner. You must be affectionate. You must talk affectionate talk. You must touch affectionately. Okay. All right. Number 3, allow tension to build. You must allow tension to build your brain to experience more pleasure when the anticipation of the reward goes on. You see, allow more tension to build in your brain. You see, in other words, take time to do foreplay. That's what I'm trying to say. Take time to do foreplay. You know, do foreplay, share fantasies. You know what I mean by foreplay now? Play with your spouse. Play with your husband. Wear some lovely clothes. sexy, attractive clothes, and play. Learn to do these things and change your locations. You know, in making sex, if you want to, if when it gets to that level, but you have to stay it up first. Stay it up by the way you play differently, dress sexy, look attractive. You got to do this. Your aim is to make sex more romantic instead of just a shabby attack. This is so important. Number 4, separate sexual intimacy from routine. Is very important. You need to separate your sexual intimacy from routines, your daily routine. Plan intimacy time with your spouse. Avoid talking about relationship problems and household chores in the bedroom. It quenches the desire for intimacy. It paralyzes the interest of the intimacy. In your bedroom is not the time to talk about the problem that you had throughout the day. In the bedroom is not the time to talk about the household chores that wasn't done. It's not in the bedroom you talk about it. When you bring that into the bedroom, you are actually paralyzing the moment, the special moment you should be having. You are discouraging the intimacy that was supposed to take place. So, sexual arousal plummets when we are distracted and distressed. That's the point I'm trying to make. Sexual arousal plummets when we are distracted. So don't be distracted. Don't be stressed. Do you understand? Because that's what happens. Sexual arousal will just plummet. It will just die down. All right. Then number 5 point you want to take note of is you need to carve out time to spend with your partner. Carve out time. A lot of people are too busy not to spend time with your partner. When you come back from work, when your partner returns from work, spend time, an hour or 2, spend quality time with your partner. Carve out time. You must schedule time to spend with your partner. It's so important. I don't know how I can express that enough. It's so important. So try varieties of activity that will bring you both pleasure. All right. Have fun, courting, practicing flicking at each other as you will. Ignite sex desire. Do something. Create these things. It's so important. All right. Then number 6, focus on affectionate touch. I've mentioned about this before. Focus on affectionate touch. Offer to give your partner a back, a shoulder rub, whatever. I do that most of the time. People associate foreplay with sexual intercourse. It's easy. When you do those foreplay, it automatically resonates. It will the sexual hormones will be stirred up. Will be stirred up. But remember, I said affection is not sex. Being affectionate is not sex. So understand that. Another thing that you want to remember this. Being affectionate or practicing affectionate touch is so powerful. It's a powerful way to demonstrate and rekindle passion, even if you are not a touchy-feely person. It doesn't practice this affection. There are many ways to practice affectionate touch. All right, many ways. Then number 7, practice being more emotionally vulnerable during sex. A lot of women and men are too stiff when it's sex time, when it's intimacy time. They are just emotionally stiff, and some of them talk their way in, talk their way out, quarrel over. Oh dear, quarrel over it. How is it gonna be fun? Practice being more emotional. Be emotionally vulnerable during sex. Share your innermost wishes, your fantasies, your desires, okay? Desires with your partner. Share how you feel. You see, if you feel emotional intimacy, if if you fear, let me use that word, that's the word. If you fear emotional intimacy, consider engaging in individual or couple therapy, because that's the best. I'm not sure, because there are some couples who are afraid of it. They're just afraid. If you are afraid of emotional intimacy, then something should, then you should consult a therapy. You need help. Yeah, you need help. So that's it. Then number 8, maintain a sense of curiosity about sexual intimacy. You see, experiment with your new ways to bring pleasure to each other. That's what I'm trying to say here. Experiment new ways. Pleasure to each other is very important. Experiment new ways. Look at sex as an opportunity to get to know your partner better over the time. It's so important. It's an opportunity. Well, you have been enjoying this. Before I give you the last 2 points, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button right now. And also, don't forget to hit the bell notification button there, so you'll be able to receive notification in any of our videos that we upload. All right. Thank you for doing that. Now let's get back to it. Number nine. Vary the kind of sex you have. Vary the kind of sex you have. Is it gentle, loving, tender, intimate? How do you vary the kind of sex that you have? I would suggest have gentle, loving, tender, intimate, highly erotic sex. Practice these things. Break up the routine. This normal, everyday, one-sided, one position, this normal routine. You need to break it up, because you need to just practice everything else that will ignite the intimacy and change your sexual life. Then the number 10, make sex a priority. Make sex a priority in your relationship with your spouse. If you can't do that, then you have a problem. You got to make sex a priority. Make sex a priority. That's what I did in my relationship. I have to make sex a priority. There was a time my wife was telling me, is this marriage about sex? No, I said, because if I don't make this a priority, then every other thing will suffer. And that's how a lot of people are going through it right now. That's why a lot of people are suffering about suffering in their intimacy right now, because they didn't make sex priority. They thought sex was not relevant. They flushed sex to the background. So set the mood for intimacy before TV. Walk door your passion for other routines, other things. What I'm trying to say is set your mood. Okay, you say today I'm going to have this thing with my husband, with my wife. So set your mood, prepare yourself. All right. So whatever you think you want to do alongside to stay it up, maybe light a meal, candlelight, whatever, or play music of your choice. Maybe have a glass of wine of your choice. You see, but listen, set the stage for great sex, bro. 6, you got to do it. This is fall on you to rekindle in bringing your intimacy back to your marriage. So I've shared with you today 10 points that will help you revive your intimacy back into your marriage. Even though you've been 5 years behind or 10 years behind, it doesn't matter. Even though you have children and you thought, oh, because of the babies, we are no more interested. It doesn't matter. If you practice these things, you'll be amazed how your life is going to turn out. Just give it some time, all right? Don't be too anxious. Practice these things and give it few days. You will see how everything will come back to normal. Thank you for watching. I believe you have been inspired by what I shared with you today. I hope this is going to be helpful to you. If it has been helpful to you, please leave a comment in the comment section. If you have any question, please do not hesitate to leave your comments in the comment section and leave your question there as well. We will get back to you. I try to reply every comment that I read that are valuable and impactful. Thank you so much for all the information you guys are sharing on our platform. especially in the comment section. Guys, thank you for watching this video. I know you really appreciate it, and I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Like it, share it, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and I will see you in another video. Until then, have a peaceful relationship. Bye for now. Hello, you're welcome to our channel today. This is Family Aspect, and I'm your host. One more time, this is gonna be an amazing moment because I'm gonna be sharing with you why most married men are unfaithful. Remember, this is my honest opinion. I've come to discover why many married men are unfaithful to their marriage. Now, there are so many things you want to bring into this discussion. There are so many arguments going on out there. Why men are unfaithful, why many women are unfaithful, and all of that. But guess what? I want you to pay attention and listen to what I have to say about this, because this is my honest opinion. Every woman wants to know. They want to know without a shadow of doubt that her boyfriend, fiance, or husband is completely loyal to her in thoughts and deeds. They want it. This is what every woman wants. They want it. But why is it that most women are not getting these things that they want? This particular thing called faithful husband. Why is it so? I'm going to be right back in a minute, and I'm going to share details with you, my honest opinion about this. I'll see you soon. You're welcome back. Yes, our subject today is why most married men are unfaithful. Now, like I said, this is my honest opinion. And I said before that every woman wants what every woman really wants in life is a man, without a shadow of a doubt, a man or a boyfriend or a fiance or a spouse who is completely loyal to her in thoughts and deeds. And we all know that is a very, very powerful quality that a man should possess. Now, if a woman says that she wants a faithful man, what she really is asking for is a man who will not have an affair, or a man who will be completely loyal and committed to her for the rest of her life. She wants to trust him completely. But there are many complex issues that makes this unrealistic to most couples. You agree with me, all right? There are many. But you see, here's what I think. For a couple to stay faithful to each other, both of them must understand their needs of each other. I repeat that again. For a couple to stay faithful to each other, both of them must understand their needs of each other. Now, you may say, well, what do you mean? Their needs. Yes, N-E-E-D. N-E-E-D. Needs. The main reason needs are often not met within the union of marriage is not selfish unwillingness to be considerate, but true ignorance of each other's needs. A lot of marriage are built today or are being started today without knowing or having the understanding that who they marry has specific needs, have specific expectation. So we assume we understand what they want. We assume we understand what they need, actually, not what they want, what they need. So we just carry on living with them without actually finding out from them what they really need. Now, in marriage, both couples want their needs met. We all understand that both couples have needs. You have your needs, your husband have your needs, have his own needs, and the understanding, the knowledge of that is what makes it even better for a successful relationship. Now, like I said before, in marriages today, both couples want their needs met, but rarely do they communicate those needs to their spouse or take the time to know the needs of the other. So we don't really know our needs. We thought we think we know, we just assume we know, but we really don't. You see, no one is taking time to find out what does my wife want, or what is the needs, what are the needs of my wife, what are the needs of my husband, how can I make that need, meet that needs. You get it now? So I found that many individuals try to learn to do without having their needs met in marriage. I found that there are so many couples today, they are just living in that relationship, learning every day just to do without their specific needs. They have these needs because they have not summoned the courage to speak and talk to their partner what their expectation, their needs are in this marriage. So they just leave without doing anything about it. So they try to leave without having their need met in the marriage. So they will rather do without than attempt to convey to their mates their true needs. And that is a huge problem and a big contributor as a factor to unfaithfulness in relationship. Now, listen to this. There is no greater fear on earth than to stand emotionally naked before the one you love most in life. There's no greater fear on earth for someone to emotionally stand naked before your spouse, before your partner. It's a greater fear. Many relationships are going through that fear today. The fearing that your spouse will laugh at you when you talk to them about your desire. The fearing that your spouse will refuse you to give you what you desperately wanted or what you desperately need. That fear is holding a lot of couples back, holding them in not to share or not to be emotionally naked before their spouse. That also is a contributing factor to unfaithfulness. Now, this is one of the major problems most men are facing. Most men are unfaithful today because of this. They are afraid. They are not emotionally naked before their spouse, their wife. So they are fearing that when they share what they intend, what they expect, what they desire in the marriage, they will not get it. They will be rejected, or they will be laughed at. Or worse to be, is that they will be desperately rejected. They will be highly rejected. Many people, many men today are now experiencing this problem because their spouse, their wives, actually rejects them when they made their offer, when they told their wife that this is what I really need. This is my greatest desire and need in this marriage. So the wife talks it down, looked down on it, never took that thing seriously, or to be on the worst side, they were completely rejected. So, for example, let me give you an example. A man who, now this is realistic, this is serious, this is real. A man who lists sexual fulfillment as one of his needs, and whose wife fulfilled these needs, he will make his wife a source, and he makes his wife a source, a continuous source of intense pleasure sexually. His love for her will grow stronger and stronger. I've come to understand that. Remember this, I said, these are my opinions. These are my research findings. These are the things I've seen work for many, many couples. If a man lists that, hey, honey, my desire in this marriage, my greatest desire in this marriage is our sexual life to be really, really great. I want our sexual life to be really fulfilling. I want you to focus on that. And he lists that need. And the wife, who is smart and intelligent and wise, decide to meet that need and say, you know what, this is what my husband wanted, and I'm going to meet that need. And she does it and fulfill that need. What will happen is the man will automatically make her the continuous source of that intense pleasure sexually. You need to understand that. And two, what will gradually follow is an intense growth for love. Intense growth. The love for her, the love that the man will have for her will grow intensely. It will grow stronger and stronger. And nothing, that bond will become very difficult to break through. But, however, if this need is not met, he begins to associate her with frustration. And that has happened in many marriages. Many men are frustrated because this particular need has not been met. Women, most of the wives, have never thought how important this need is to their husband. So they just let it slide. So the man feels, and now he's frustrated. You are being associated now with frustration by the man. Eventually, he will decide, you know what? She doesn't like sex. I don't think she will like sex. You see, there's a programming now gradually taking place. Oh, I don't think she likes sex. I don't think she likes intimacy. I don't think she's really into intimacy. And then his mind within him, he start wondering, because his need is not met. What happens is try to go, his attention start going somewhere else. All right. One of these three things, listen, one of these three things will definitely happen. I want you to mark this. One of these three things. Number one, he will try to put up with it, or he will bear it for a while. You see, he will try to put up with it and bear it for a while until it becomes the norm. You know, when it becomes the normal way. That's why you find in marriages today, we have some couples who have not had sexual intimacy for months, years. They'll talk about 2 years, 3 years, never had sexual intimacy with their spouse because it has become the norm. The man has tried to put up with it for the sake of peace, for the sake of not being laughed at, for the sake of harmony. He put up with it and bear it until it becomes the norm. How frustrating. And that leads to the second thing. The second thing is he will live sexually frustrated. He will live a sexually frustrated life for the rest of their marriage. For the rest of their marriage life, he will live sexually frustrated. And many men are living sexually frustrated right now as we speak, because that need has been rejected by the wife. That need, one of, not like, oh, the wife rejected it completely. No, this is something that happened off and on. Just like when you feel hungry, you want to eat, and then they say there's no food. You go hungry and you feel bad. And then again, you come tomorrow, you eat a bit. And next day, you want to eat again, they say there's no food. There's always this off and on of granting that need, that sexual need that the man asks for. That's what I'm talking about here. The third thing that will happen is that he will be unfaithful. These three things, one of them would definitely happen if a man, your husband's sexual needs is not taken seriously. These three things would definitely happen. Except you want them to happen, except you want them to be the result of your marriage, then you can go ahead and do whatever you and allow this to happen. Remember this, adultery does not occur overnight, okay? The man usually begins by conversing with a close female friend or someone at the office or a neighbor, you understand? Now, this conversation only friendship, this conversation only friendship, then develop into a deeper relationship of trust and desire. One step at a time, the marriage is compromised by deeper feelings of trust and emotional dependence, you see. By deeper feelings, the marriage is compromised by deeper feelings for this third party, this lady that he was just, in quotes, being a friend with. Before long, if he does not stop himself, adultery will result. Remember what I said. If he does not stop himself, he may not have the capacity, the tenacity, the intelligence to stop himself. Not most men are able to stop themselves. But if he cannot stop himself, adultery will happen. That's exactly why many men are unfaithful. That's exactly what is going on in many marriages today. You may not agree with me, but this is my honest opinion. This is out of experience, research, findings. This is exactly what makes many men unfaithful. Now, before you get back at me and say, no, that's not true. Hold on a minute. When you buy a car, the car payment is the amount due. When you get married, brothers and sisters, sex is the payment of what is due. Therefore, the number one need of your husband and marriage, I repeat, the number one need of your husband and marriage is sex, intimacy, sex. You cannot deny that truth. Even God, who created man and woman, made it so compulsory for husband and wife. You cannot deny that. And if you deny that in your marriage, or you often turn it off and on as a switch boss the way you want, you're going to make the man not only being frustrated, you're going to be an object of frustration to him. Not only are you you become an object of frustration, he eventually will begin to see you as an anti-sexual person. You know what I mean now? And then before long, then you're giving him several options and decisions to start coming in that you will not want. All right. So you need to understand that this is so important. I understand. I know. Listen, I understand not every man who is unfaithful in his marriage has a wife who does not fulfill his sexual or emotional needs. I understand that. But these wives, these women, they are very few. Very few women has these qualities. Believe me. I said that again. Probably you didn't get it. I said I understand that not every man who is unfaithful in his marriage has a wife who does not fulfill his sexual emotional needs. There are so many wives that they are out, they are committed without shadow of turning to make sure that their husband gets his sexual and emotional needs satisfied, even at their own discomfort. There are many women, there are women out there, but there are very few that has this quality. Very, very few. Most of them are very defensive. They want to let you know that, okay, it is you that is unfair, not them. Not trying to understand them. You get it? So that's one of the contributing factor. Another thing is, of course, I know many men are unfaithful due to the rise of pornography and the casual. The pornography today. Look at the internet. Look at what is going on the Instagram. Look at a lot of things that's going on the social media. All of these, you see a lot of women who are naked, exposing their privacy, their private parts on the internet without shame, or to gain men to start giving them money, and they call it OnlyFans something. They call it OnlyFans page. They open a fan page just to build, and people will subscribe, pay money every month just to be watching a naked woman. Think about how that is increasing in our day, 2020. And also the casual attitude that we find that people put up for marriage today. Within the words, you see, understand something. This word is turning to something else. You have to be smart. You have to be very vigilant to understand what is going on in your world. Okay? These are the things. All of these things contribute to the decline of fidelity within marriage. So you need to understand that this is true. I understand what is going on. I understand how you're feeling. All right? Okay? But here's what I think, in my opinion. As a wife, you need to understand the warning signs of a frustrated partner. You need to recognize, many women don't recognize the warning signs of a husband being frustrated out of this denial. You see, then when you find that out, maybe you think, oh, I don't know, I don't want this to happen. Then turn to the Lord, turn to God, and turn to the Lord is very important. He will make you all you can be within your marriage. It's so important. You want him to make you all you can be within your marriage commitment. It's so important. And then you must ask yourself as a wife, as a woman, ask yourself these questions. What are my husband's needs? You see. What am I doing to meet his needs? You see. What am I doing to create frustration in him? Am I creating frustration? Have I communicated to him what my sexual desires needs are? Have you done that? What does the word of God say? What did God say about your sexual relationships? Then you ask yourself, how can I change and be a better wife, a better spouse to improve these things? Ask yourself these questions. And if you do, you'll be amazed. You'll be saving your marriage a great deal. You'll be saving your marriage a great deal. He that have ears, let him hear. That's all I have to say. He that have ears, let him hear. Now, watch out for our next series. I'm going to be coming up with our next series, understanding the needs of your husband and the needs of your wife. I'm going to talk about that. And then you discover that these things are very important that I'm talking about. This is one of the reasons, my honest opinion, one of the reasons why men are unfaithful to their wives. And guess what? If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for? You need to hit the subscribe button right away, because if you don't hit the subscribe button, you might be missing out on many of the information that I'm going to be sharing with you along the line. So you need to subscribe now and hit the like button also. Hit the like button and share and share and share. Thank you so much for watching and being part of this. Oh boy, I'm excited I've shared this with you. I believe you take it seriously and put it to work. So until our next series of teaching or advice that we may come with, Stay happy in your marriage. Bye for now. Hello, you're welcome to our podcast today. This is Family Aspect, and I'm your host, Charles. Today, I want to be talking about how to stimulate love in your relationship, in your marriage. Just in case you've been wondering where the love has gone, why are things not going the way you expected, and it's as though you guys are struggling to find your feet in loving each other again. Well, I want to share with you today number one aphrodisiacs that you need in your marriage. Number one aphrodisiacs you need in your marriage. Now, that is forgiveness. I want to talk a bit on forgiveness today. It's number one aphrodisiacs that you need in your marriage. It's number one aphrodisiacs that you need in your marriage. I keep saying it because you see, this is how you can equally stimulate love in your relationship. All right? Forgiveness. Now, why is there a sudden burst of sexual attraction or intimacy when a couple reconcile from a disagreement or a major fight, a kind of a fight that happens? When they reconcile, what makes you think there is this sudden burst of relations of intimacy that happens after a quarrel, after a major quarrel, and there is reconciliation? You know, a lot of times we experience that as couples, right? Now, why do you think that happened? Well, whenever our oneness has been restored after some differences or arguments, we want to express this restoration. How do we express it? A lot of times we express this restoration through intimacy. Yes, we express that we have forgiven each other. We express that we are one. We express that we have been restored through intimacy a lot of times. A lot of times. Now, first of all, the question should be, do you want to be right or do you want to reconcile? When you go through arguments and quarrels and disagreement in your relationship, I want you to always ask yourself this question: do I want to be right or do I want to reconcile? Do you want to be right or do you want to reconcile? That's a very important question in order to express forgiveness in your marriage, in order to enjoy the benefit of forgiveness in your marriage. Now, let me explain something. Forgiveness is not a feeling we achieve, but a choice that we have to make. I know, I understand. That's why it's very difficult for most of us, some of us, to forgive, because we think is a feeling that we have to achieve. Until I feel it, I can't forgive. I have to feel that I'm able to forgive you before I forgive you. No, it is not by feelings. It is not achieved by what you feel and how you feel the way you feel. Forgiveness is by choice. You choose to do it. If you make up your mind, then it will be so. Now, granting forgiveness, I want you to understand this. Granting forgiveness is not always easy. At times, it is the hardest thing you could ever do. It is the hardest thing we can ever practice. It is hard. But forgiveness is not conditional either. So even though as hard as it appears, as difficult as it may appear, it is not conditional. So a lot of times, the reason we find it hard to do, we find it difficult, is because we place forgiveness as a conditional act, a conditional practice. So he must or she must do this before I forgive. You see, when we place forgiveness as a condition, then we find it difficult to express, and then we suffer the benefit. We suffer the lack of what we're supposed to enjoy, in the process of being a forgiving person. Now, let me explain that in a very clear note. First of all, forgiveness is not conditional. It is not conditional to our feelings. It is not conditional to our emotions. It's not conditional at all. But it is determined by our obedience, by choice. Your obedience to do it is what makes it powerful. It's what makes it right. It's what makes it work. Okay? Now, when we extend forgiveness, we emulate God. I want you to understand this. When we extend forgiveness, we emulate our Creator. We are like imitators. We are imitating what God is like, who God is like. You see, when we extend forgiveness, okay? I want you to understand that. Now, when we act like that, or we act like God by extending forgiveness, it brings a smile to God's face. It brings a smile to the heart of God. So you need to understand that. This is very important, okay? Now, to extend forgiveness without demanding a change makes the grace that you enjoy, or the grace of God, an accomplice. Let me use that word. Is an accomplice to evil. For instance, if you are asking for forgiveness, it's different from someone who you want to forgive does not ask for forgiveness. That's another point. Then, when the person is being forgiven without placing a demand for change on that person, then that is actually encouraging the person to do more harm than good. Do you understand? So, change is a condition that makes forgiveness a divine tool, all right, in your hands. It is the change. You place a change as a demand on your forgiveness. Forgiveness is not a condition, okay? It is a choice. It is an act of willingness. But when it comes to empowering the tool, using it as a tool, using forgiveness as a tool, it must have change as a condition. The only condition that is allowed in forgiveness is change, okay? So that means change is a condition that makes forgiveness your tool to become powerful tool, a miraculous tool in your hands, okay? So what does that mean? If you're going to forgive someone about what they've done wrong, let's assume a couple now. One insulted you, the other one picked offense, and later it's time for reconciliation, and then you explain, I didn't like what you said, I didn't like the words that you used in talking to me. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use those words, I'll never use those words again. There is forgiveness is activated. That is when forgiveness becomes powerful and miraculous. Now, when you still hold on to that event or that scenario, without letting go, then you haven't forgiven. And that can bring the opposite side of forgiveness, which is harm, hurt, displeasure, disappointment, frustration, and many other things. So, if we can ask for forgiveness, then we must extend it. We must learn to extend it. A lot of times, many of us ask our Creator for forgiveness for the things we know, humanly speaking, is going to be very difficult to forgive. But we ask, and God does. All right. If we do ask for forgiveness from other people, from our Creator, from our religious leaders, or whatever we believe in, we ask for forgiveness because everyone needs forgiveness. We all need forgiveness. There's nobody on earth that doesn't need forgiveness on earth. Everyone does. Okay. Now, if you ask for one, you should be able to give one. So giving your marriage, your relationship with your families and your loved ones is an environment to practice forgiveness. Is a playground for you. Is a field for you to express forgiveness and practice it on a daily basis. So you need to understand that. Now, here's the point I want to make. Forgiveness is an act of our will that releases others from the moral debt that they owns us. I'll say that again. Forgiveness is an act of our will that releases others from the moral debt they owns us. So we release other people of the debt they owns us by forgiving them. If you do not forgive them, it means you are holding that grudge, that pain, that bitterness in your heart against them. What does that mean? It means you are holding the negative aspect of life in your hands, and that burns. Imagine putting a coal of fire in your hands. Imagine holding hot fire or hot coal, or holding a kind of hot substance in your hand. You get burned. So that's what it's like not to forgive. Okay, that's the best way I think I can put it. Now, forgiveness is not given because it is earned. Now, some people think you got to earn the forgiveness. No, you don't give forgiveness because it is earned. Don't try to forgive other people by making them earn it. No, forgiveness is not given because it is earned or deserved. No, but it is because it is needed. Understand, forgiveness is a need. It's a necessary requirement in your marriage, in your relationship with others. You got to practice forgiveness. It's needed. Forgiveness is mercy. Understand it. Forgiveness is not justice. A lot of people use forgiveness as justice. It's not justice. You say, I forgive you because that's the way I can justify the situation. No. Forgiveness is mercy. Forgiveness is kindness. Is a gift. It's something that you give freely. It's out of kindness. It's out of mercy. So you got to practice that. The more you do it, the more, like I said earlier on when I started out, the more this outburst of intimacy that will happen in your relationship. Try it. Every time there's a major argument or some issues, try and work on forgiveness quickly and see what happens. It restores your marriage. It restores the wholeness in your life, and then it increases intimacy automatically. Okay, now I've said a lot of key points here that will help you out, but here's what I want you to know. We must learn to extend forgiveness to our partners, to our relationship of our loved ones, our friends that we know. We must learn to extend forgiveness. Just as your Creator, your God, our Creator, extend it to us through His Son, Jesus Christ. Think about it. So the whole picture is you got to learn to practice who you really are. Forgiveness is in your nature, is in you, is a characteristic of your personality. So learning to forgive and practicing forgiveness is key to stimulating your love for your partner every now and then. That's why forgiveness is a lifestyle. Forgiveness is something you do on a consistent basis. You remember a story of a man who, one of the master's disciple, and asked and said, how many times should I forgive my brother when he offend me? If he offend me 7 times, how many times should I forgive him? Well, the master said 7 times 70. So you have to multiply that as many times. In other words, come on, forgiveness is bound to be given as many times you've been offended. So in other words, if you've been offended 3 times, forgive 3 times. If you've been offended 10 times, forgive 10 times. Now, like I said before, forgiveness is not conditional, but forgiveness requires change as a condition. So for you to make forgiveness work for you in your relationship, the person who offended you, the person who did something wrong to you, must be willing to change from what he's done for that forgiveness to become effective. There must be a willingness for change. Of course, that doesn't mean you should not forgive the person, but it will become effective. That means it brings you guys closer to each other and increases the bond among your relationship when, you see, when the person agreed to change. So I understand that this has been a long, not cool, a short video I perceive. So I just thought I should share this stuff with you. For those of you out there, you want to stimulate your relationship, you want to increase the love that is in your marriage. This is one of the way. You cannot walk under forgiveness and not have your relationship sparkled up and not have the love life stimulated. That's the truth. So if you're lacking love in your relationship, you're lacking constant intimacy in your relationship, I think what you need to look at is your act of forgiveness. One of the things, because I have 2 more to share with you, but this is number 1. So I believe you enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe, and share. I'm going to come your way again next time with another episode. Until then, stay happy in your marriage. Bye for now.